Do not miss any of our cool videos. Subscribe to our channel for latest updates. Click on the bell icon now.
Analog inputs and outputs on the Pico using C. Let's get into it. Hi and welcome to RoboCraze. My name is Shiv and this is the third video in our series where I am teaching you how to program the Raspberry Pi Pico microcontroller using C with the help of a Raspberry Pi SBC. In this video, I'll teach you how to take input from a potentiometer and control the brightness of an LED. So analog inputs using ADC and analog outputs using PWM. So let's get started. Let us begin by setting up the circuit. I will first connect the LED to GPIO 14, that is second from the right on the bottom over here. As you can see, I've connected the LED to GPIO 14 and the other end of the LED, the shorter leg which is ground, to a free pin on the breadboard. I'll then connect my current limiting resistor to ground and the free end of the LED so that the LED goes through pin 14, a free pin on the breadboard, and then ground. Ground pin is the third one from the right on the bottom. So with this, the LED is connected. Then we can connect the potentiometer. I'll connect the brown wire to the left end of the potentiometer and the red wire to the right end. The orange wire, which will give us the signal, will be connected to the middle pin of the potentiometer. On the Pico, I'll connect the red wire to VCC, which is fifth from the left on the top, and the brown wire to ground, which is third from the left on the top. The orange wire will go to GPIO 26, which is also the ADC 0 channel. This is 10th from the left on the top. Now that our circuit is connected, we can go ahead and begin writing our code. Let us begin by having a look at the C++ SDK. I'll leave a link to this document in the description down below. Scroll down to the Hardware API section and click on Hardware ADC. Here there is an example where they demonstrate how to use an ADC. We include the required libraries such as the standard library GPIO and ADC, initialize STDIO so that we can have printf on the USB interface, and we'll go over this again. I've already covered this in my last video as well. We initialize the ADC, then set up channel number 26 to operate as ADC. So we initialize ADC GPIO on pin number 26, that is where I have connected this orange wire. Then we select the ADC input 0. This is to select channel 0 as the ADC input, which is connected to GPIO 26. As you can see over here, GPIO 26, ADC 0. We then have an infinite while loop where we calculate first of all the conversion factor. So we take the maximum voltage to be 3.3 volts, and since this is a 12-bit ADC, we divide it by 1, left shifted by 12. So this will convert it to a value, to a voltage value from a value between 0 to 4095. We then read the ADC and print the result that we read from the ADC and the result multiplied by the conversion factor. We then sleep for 500 milliseconds. So this will simply take the input from the potentiometer and print it on the USB interface. We can then have a look at the PWM. So scroll down to the PWM section, hardware PWM, and here you can see that they have used PWM slices. First of all, we need hardware/pwm.h. We have to set the GPIO function of whichever GPIO we are using to PWM so that it behaves as a PWM pin. We then have to take a slice. We have to find the slice, PWM slice, that is connected to our required GPIO. Over here they have explained that the PWM block has 8 identical slices and each slice can drive 2 PWM output signals or measure the frequency or duty cycle of an input signal. So this means that we have up to 6 controllable PWM outputs and all 30 GPIOs, 16 controllable PWM outputs, and all the 30 GPIOs can be driven by the PWM block. So we have to find the slice, PWM slice, that is connected to channel 0 to GPIO 0, and then we have to set set a period after which, after those many cycles, the PWM channel will be reset. So we set the period to 4 over here. So it will go from 0 till 3. We then set channel A to be high for one cycle before going low. Since we have 4 cycles and we have configured channel A to go high for one cycle before dropping back to 0, this means that this channel or this GPIO will have 25% duty cycle or 1/4 of the maximum brightness. And for channel B, we have set 3, which is 75% duty cycle. We then enable the slice, and this should output a PWM signal on the required pin. These are example codes, but we'll be using these to write our own custom code. Let us begin. You can see that I have now CD'd into the PicoC tutorial and the tutorial folder. This is the folder that we had created in the last video to hold all our code instead of modifying the existing examples. You can see we have the button test from last time. Let us begin by creating a new directory called analog.io for this tutorial. I'll cd into it and nano into analog.io.c. We'll begin by importing all the libraries. I will then put a map function similar to Arduino so that we can map 0 to 4095 to a value between 0 to 255. We'll use values between 0 to 255 to control the brightness of the LED. And there we have the long map function. So this will take an input x, an input value between a minimum and maximum, and return a value between output minimum and output maximum. Now let us create the main function. Here the first thing that we need to do is stdio init all. Then we can do the ADC init, initialize the ADC, then initialize the ADC GPIO. And we are using pin number 26. Instead of hard coding these values, I can just call it potentiometer pin. And then I can go on top and declare this using hash define. We can also define the PWM pin, or let us call it the LED pin, as 14. So we have initialized the potentiometer pin. We now have to select the ADC input 0, channel 0 to be active. Then we have to set the function of the GPIO pin that we're using for PWM as PWM pin. So we take GPIO set function LED pin and then set it to GPIO function PWM. This will enable the pin to be controlled by PWM. Then we have to find the slice. So we take an unsigned integer, take the slice number variable and assign it to the value returned by PWM GPIO to slice number on the LED pin. Then we have to configure the PWM. So PWM set wrap slice number 255. So I'm giving it 255 clock cycles. I'm giving it 255 clock cycles to reset. So if you look over here, they're setting a period of 4 cycles, 0 to 3. So after 4 cycles, it will start counting back from 0. And then we can set a value over here. Instead of between 0 to 4, we can set it between 0 to 255. So you have set the wrap value. Then we'll set the channel level. on the slice number that we have received, we'll be using PWM channel A because that is one connected to GPIO 14. And initially we can set it to 0. So the LED can start off by being off. Then we enable the PWM. Slice number and set the enabled to true. We can then have our infinite while loop. And in this while loop, we can read the ADC value and then set the PWM. So let us do that now. So here we first begin by reading the ADC. Then we read the PWM, we map this value to something that we can use on the PWM. So long PWM value can be map, and then whatever result we received, it will be between 0, 4095, and the output has to be between 0 and 255. So for that we can give 0 and 255 and add a semicolon at the end. Next we can print these results to the screen so that we have an understanding of what's going on. So we can first print the raw value, and I'll use %L for long integers. And then we can print the mapped PWM value. And we can put a tab space in between them. So here we'll have result and then PWM value. We can then set the channel level to whatever we have calculated. So PWM set channel level, and then the slice number to which to assign this channel level to. We're using PWM channel A, and then the PWM value to be set. To slow this down a bit, we can give a sleep of 50 milliseconds so that this doesn't happen too fast. It doesn't poll the ADC or the PWM set the PWM value too fast. We'll save this now, and we now need to create the CMake list file. I'll copy over the CMake list file from the code that we had built earlier and modify it for analog IO. So I'm just going to copy from our button test the CMake list file into the current directory. We can nano into it and then make changes accordingly. So we have to first of all change all the button tests to analog IO. Next we select all the libraries that we need. So the extra ones we already have stdlib and GPIO. The extra ones we need are ADC and PWM. I'll then save this and then go back into the tutorials directory. Here we need to edit the CMake list file and add subdirectory analog IO so that our program builds it. We can then cd into the build folder and run the cmake ... command. This is because if you currently look at the build folder, we do not have the analog IO folder because it's created new. We can run the cmake ... command and this should give us the analog IO folder. We can then cd into analog IO and run the make j4 command. While that is running, I'll connect the Pico in programming mode. So I press the button, connect the wire and release the button. We are given this prompt which we can cancel because I'll be using the terminal to copy over the files. We can do an ls now and see that we have the analog io.uf2 file. This is the file that we need to copy. So we can do cp analog IO.uf2 media pi rpi rp2, and our LED has already turned on. Let me ls/dev and see if TTY ACM0 is present, and it is, which means we can use the minicom command, and the values are not being displayed properly. We'll look at this in a second, but let us see if I turn the potentiometer, does the LED brightness change? So I'll take my screwdriver over here and turn it to the left. As you can see, the brightness has decreased slightly. And if I turn to the right, the brightness has increased. I'm not sure if this is visible on camera. Let me try to. So you can see the brightness has gone down and gone up. So I'm able to control it using the potentiometer. Let us take a look at why the values are not being printed on serial. So I'll nano back into the directory. Analog IO.c, and let us see what we have written in the print statement. It says printf. Let us try replacing these with %d, because we know that the values are going to be within integer limits. We can run the make j4 command again and connect the Pico back in programming mode. We can also put a new line character at the end actually, so that it displays it properly. Cancel, and then copy analog IO UF2 to media rpi rp2, and the LED comes back on, and then we can use the minicom command to see if we get something. Alright, as you can see that the values are being printed. Let me change the number and see what happens. So it's showing the PWM and the raw values. So if I decrease it, the brightness is changing, but we're still not getting anything on the terminal. Let me give this a quick check. Maybe we should add a new line character to the end of this so that it's a bit easier. Since our LED brightness is coming correctly, it means that the values are being calculated properly. It's only having trouble printing it. So let's connect this back. Wait for it to connect and then copy your code over. Okay. Every time you change the source code, you have to rerun the make-j4 command. I forgot to do that right now, but make sure that you remember to run the make-j4 command every time you make a change to your source code, because as you saw right now, if you don't run the make command, your changes will not take effect. I'll wait for it to connect and copy the UF2 file again. Once copied, we can go back to minicom, and now you can see we have some numbers showing up. Let me try increasing and see if it changes. There, you can see the raw value is going up all the way to 4095, and the PWM value will go all the way to 255, along with the brightness of the LED. And there we have it. Analog inputs from the potentiometer using ADC, and analog outputs using PWM on an LED. So that's all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something today, and if you did, do leave us a like and comment down below if you have any queries, ideas or suggestions that you may want to share with us. Stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe, because in the next video I'll teach you how to use the timers on board the Pico. Until then, keep learning, keep programming, and I'll see you in the next one.